Hundreds of millions of Catholics, Lutherans, Methodists, Pentecostals, and thank you, AG, for offering me a church when I was just 21. Kojic said that I was too young, though. Baptists and their bishops, leaders who live in Latin America and benefit financially from American jobs and therefore their contributions. I have observed Western Union lines in another country, and because of records, we know that billions of dollars flow from the United States to the Latin American countries. No less than 3 billion through Western Union alone in the smallest of countries. In Mexico, by now, I'm sure it's over 100 billion. Black Americans should take the survey in the description entitled Our Gold Village, moving on up. It's not enough to state the problems and expect others to fix them. Black Americans can't rely on our white brothers and sisters doing the right thing. Some Negroes still want to give all of our ideas to others to profit by. Since they can't profit by our bodies, they want to profit by our minds. The appropriate New Testament scripture the Christian community should use associated with immigration is when the Pharisees asked Jesus about taxes, render or give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. That's the appropriate scripture to use. The separation of church and state is appropriate. Set the captives free and heal the brokenhearted in those countries, and use the words of Jesus in those countries, not take away constitutional principles we've worked for and built and promised to all American citizens who will not flee when war comes, who will not flee when there's another pandemic. 99% of construction crews across the U.S., for example, consist of Hispanic illegal immigrants. At least in Atlanta, that's the case, and other places where I've talked to people. Not American, black or white workers. That's disenfranchisement. I voted for Senator Tim Kaine, a Catholic who, during his campaign for vice president in 2016, said that he trained people in Latin America to do carpentry. I met others who trained Latin Americans for jobs they could do in the United States. Catholic Services and the Agency of Catholic Charities, as well as Protestant social services, provide guidance to illegal immigrants to get American jobs, housing, transportation, and businesses and professional practices. This is a disadvantage to Americans. Does anyone really think cartels just help people get into the U.S. without providing capital for Hispanic businesses that start up in the U.S. for profit and money laundering? American gangsters have done this too. So does ICE look into these things, into businesses? Americans, including Black Americans, when given the credit, have always been innovative, which is not, according to the World Bank, that's not happening in Latin America. The roof ember wall patented in 2025 is less than $100, cheaper than a roof or rebuilding your house again because of a house fire or wildfire that started on your roof. Embers start fires, and embers can float a mile to land on your roof. The internet says 90% of house fires start on the roof. The roof ember wall helps prevent fires before they start due to embers on your roof. The roof ember wall sprays in 4 directions for a radius of 15 feet or more for hours to kill embers before they become a fire that you can't see on your roof while you go about doing other things. The roof ember wall saves water. The roof ember wall can be moved around with your feet on the ground. An old church trustee and former officer at an Atlanta bank said, every can must sit on its own bottom. In other words, other third world countries must support themselves. Setting off an economic imbalance in the United States through social engineering is not the answer to all other countries' economies. One reason why Martin Luther of Germany started Protestantism in the 16th century is because of social engineering by the Catholic Church. The church imposed its wealth needs on societies in Europe, as Catholic and some white Protestant denominations are doing now in the U.S. in the third scheme. Only when we all have equal adherence to the laws of the land can we have a balanced society, making America the priority. When one group breaks the law, it opens the door for other groups to break the law in their favor, their minute favor. And our society will no longer be strong to help others or help ourselves. Now, unemployment and the cost of living in America is increasing. And with AI, Waymo, autonomous vehicle ride services, robotics, taking manufacturing, security, and delivery jobs, more jobs will be lost in the United States. People will be looking for jobs. Americans will know who to blame when Americans don't have Social Security or Medicare anymore, because millions of workers in America have not been contributing to Social Security because they're immigrants. Our Social Security and Medicare systems solvency relies on all working Americans contributing to FICA. That is a social and federal contract. I have stood in too many bank and ATM lines too many times on a Friday, seeing a Latina withdrawing lots of cash, which means people are being paid in cash. When millions of jobs are held by illegal immigrants not contributing to Social Security, funds can affect whether or not your children and grandchildren will be in a soup line like in the last Great Depression.